The diaspora, you want something from, is it IEBC or from the government? Who are you trying to engage?
It should come from the government, the government acknowledgement of the diaspora. First of all, we have to be very thankful for the fact that they were able to create the State Department for the diaspora, and of which I've spoken over this for a very long time, so passionately, and but the diaspora is just forgotten in one way or the other. A State Department is a government department, and but when it comes to decision making, it has to go legislative, right? Legislature. That's where everything. That's where the deciding table is, right?
Yes.
And that's where the diaspora wants to get. And so that for that to happen, you have to amend the bills, and we must have the law that is really governs the diaspora in terms of deciding in their representation. That's very important. Not out of government, not from the State Department per se, because that's a job like another person can have. And I do not think even the diasporans, or the ones, maybe when I say the diasporans, I don't mean like the US. I mean in general. To me, I just feel it's doing its job, yes, but like 10%. That's what they've tried. Okay. The diaspora is bigger than that.
Because saizi kile nyinyi mnataka IEBC ki organize elections like in a place like US. So far kuna 3 election states. States ni 3 states ndio wagana IEBC polling.
Actually centers. They only have high commissions where people can only vote.
Yeah.
And you see this only that DC and DC, Los Angeles na wapi na New York.
Okay.
Right?
Na kwa mse understand anafaa kujua America is 17 times bigger than Kenya. So if it's 17 times bigger than Kenya and you have 3 polling centers, and saa hiyo Kenya yenyewe wagana over 40,000, so that means that if we are to be fair to America, we need to have more than 3 is too much. I think anatuseme it's too little. I think 52 would make sense,
right,
for every state kwena moja. Yes.
No, I think that in terms of budgeting and all that, demographically, I don't want to look at it that way. It's going to be very extreme and very expensive for the country to just try to get all the diasporans to vote.
Okay.
I think we should go progressive. Like, first of all, if we do demographics, we need to identify which areas where we have the majority of Kenyans.
Oh, okay.
You understand that part? Let's say, for instance, like we go to regions and then we go to small other places. When we say regions, let's talk about like North America, which is the US and Canada. When we talk about the Europe, that's still regioning. Europe, we have UK, Germany area, the EU area and all that. And then we have the Middle East, which is the largest again, and the largest capacity holding for a lot of Kenyans. So first of all, we start with those regions. I understand they have local regulations that which at times bar them not to carry out the activities very swiftly. But I think with the help of the government, they can try and strategize the policies and make the policies that are going to be able to allow Kenyans to vote in those countries. So for instance, like when the region, for instance, like the US, right?
Yeah.
We have to identify where Kenyans live most. Let's say, for instance, we start from the East Coast. We have Boston area. There's a lot of Kenyans out there. Let's just patch Boston. Let's just patch New York. New York, because it can easily combine with New Jersey, and those small areas are there. Connecticut, whatever, all of them can just be combined into one voting block.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
That's doable. You see, and through civic education is going to help us so much. And then when you come to DC as well can just combine with Richmond, Virginia, coming up all the way Baltimore, all these areas around there. So they can just combine a lot of Kenyans who are living in those areas. That's the East Coast, PA, and all that. So when we come to the Midwest, we have Ohio, we have Kansas City, we have Minnesota, and then we have what? We have Indiana. So for instance, if they had a voting center in Cincinnati, Ohio, they're going to bring down people from, let's say from, this is Ohio, Dayton, all those states whereby a lot of Kenyans live in Ohio.
Yes.
Even neighboring Pennsylvania, because it will be a few hours drive, as opposed to like someone coming from Texas going to vote, or from Ohio, or going to DC. So by the IBC or the government should involve Kenyans in the diaspora more to help them tell them where Kenyans are. Because us, we know where they are, and we know, because we call for community functions. We know how many people attend. You understand? So, and I've been in these forums and I understand, I mean, a lot of Kenyans are undocumented. You understand?
Because we're gonna say, like, the documented Kenyans in America are 250,000.
Yes.
And of course, what at Semata kuna to under 18, blah, blah, blah. So let's say there are at least 250,000 adult votes that can, and don't forget, election ingine ilikuwa decided na a gap of
200,000.
Yes, so yes. 250,000 is a
that's
lot
a swing
people.
vote.
Yeah, that's a swing vote.
So you see, yes. The reason that's why I'm just because we don't want to concentrate on just the US only. So I'm only just saying like the US is the largest.
With Germany.
Yeah, the largest. You see, like Texas. Texas, we need to have like 3 areas for voting, right? We have Austin, we have Dallas, we have Houston, which all these cities carry a lot of Kenyans. You see, if you put it in Kansas City, people live in Wichita, people live in Nebraska, Lincoln, people live in Iowa, Des Moines, people live in St. Louis, can cross to Kansas City, you know, and vote there. And in Minneapolis should be independent because it's almost like 50,000 Kenyans by itself. Like in Seattle, Washington State, it's a lot of Kenyans there. But again, as when we were challenging the Iebc, they said there are local regulations. I'm like, which ones are those? Can you just bring them up? They were not very clear on what they are exactly. So that's why we came up with a proposal, with a bill proposal with Danson Mukile and a big team that we were with Tom Sau from the UK, with Donga. Yes. A lot of people that who are involved and who are willing to work on this. We worked on these bills to trying to see if we can put it in the law. In the elections amendment bill, so that the diaspora can easily be considered. Because you see, for instance, like Dubai, this is the Middle East.
Yes,
it's a lot of people, a lot of Kenyans. Qatar, a lot of Kenyans. Lebanon, it's so many Kenyans. You see, but where are they put in terms of elections? I understand they said at the last elections, the elections kits, whatever, were delayed to get there. Some were blocked not to get there. So, but because we know we don't have the law, which really says like it's a requirement, it's because they thought like it was something that can easily be done just like that and it's forgotten. So by trying to have the bill passed in Parliament, that we try to push it through the JLAC, we try to push it through the State Department of for parliamentary committees, Iebc, through our State Department, through Katiba Institute, you know, trying to make sure this one becomes a law, not a policy. You know, it's very important that way. So that it's quick kwamba watu wamewekwa tu, because this is a lot of votes who can easily decide. Kenyans wants to be a part of it.
Okay, yeah, because Middle East, vile tu umesema, nimefikiria Middle East has a lot of votes.
Yes.
And so Middle East, we'd need a polling station in Qatar, and Qatar is a very small country, so that would be easy.
Qatar, Abu Dhabi,
Dubai,
Oman.
And Ethiopia movement in Dubai is easy. You can even have them in either Dubai or you have ile place Abu Dhabi, so we can choose one. Alafu ikikam to Schengen countries, any Schengen country I think can be used for voting, because pia movement in Schengen sinakuwaga hizo like trains na vitu kama hizo. So yeah, I think
it's only trying to it's very possible. It's the intent, as I say, the 3 I's that I always say: the intent, the implementation, and the irregular person that needs to be there for it to happen. These are things which are very possible. And again, if I heard, you know, one of the JLAC members challenged us, like, you know, it has to go through public participation. You have to explain to another person. First of all, they don't like they are not comfortable with the number of electoral representation in the parliament, which I understand is 290 constituencies. They're trying to add another. But I came to ask a question, like, we have some other constituencies with the small numbers. Where can they be dissolved and or be shared or be traded into it? Like, I mean, we just sounded so light, but it's very intensive into it, the way we were looking into it.
Okay. Yeah, Nini. But wacha tucheki your story yenyu vile itaenda, because it would be.
But really again, good. The thing I want to challenge now is this diaspora remittances. You know, more remittances is not the way the people look at it. And again, we cannot leverage on it because you cannot stop spending money back here.
Yes,
you know that it's not a leverage. But again, it's something just that we need to be looking into. It's like right now, but it's almost 600,000 billion. That's a lot of money per year. But do you know it can be more?
Yes.
By involving people, when people know like whatever that we are doing is making sense to us, even the government should jump into this idea and grab it just by the neck and go with it. Even any political parties that wants to be involved in a bigger way, can just jump into this and do what? Grab it and go, run with it, because this one is going to even help the government identify more people to remit to their country more. Because why would you, for instance, like these government agendas just came up, like housing, affordable housing, the SHU, whatever, and all that. Can you imagine, honestly? They say we don't get affected, but we get affected in one way or the other, like directly, in fact, because if I'm supporting my family here, and then you change their income. If someone is earning like $50,000, 50,000 Kenyan shillings a month, and then you just go to affordable housing, you cut his money, right? You go to this SHU, whatever, that's something they don't understand. They get money out of their pocket and all that. What happens? So what I was helping them kind of enlarges, that now it goes deeper into my pocket to come.
Na pia place mnaishi life ni hard.
Like, it's very tough. It's very tough.
In America, like I always joke that when in America and you're just from Kenya visiting, you'll be depressed because you'll be thinking in shillings, because things are expensive.
Yeah, things are very expensive. Things are very expensive.
So I think the most nishaitumia kwa taxi hapa Kenya, if I'm not wrong, like the longest trip I think is 1,200 shillings. The first trip nilichukua nikiwa States was $60. Nilienda kwa hoteli karibu nianze kulia jo. $60. I'm like, shit.
$60 almost 10,000.
Yeah, unacheki, but because I was thinking in shillings. So I'm trying to imagine how the cost of living there ni high. Alafu don't forget another thing. Shilingi imekuwa strong, but shilingi kuwa strong pia imewa affect.
Yeah.
Because it means that if you used to send $60, which would be 10,000 shillings, right now you have to send $80.
That's correct.
Unacheki?
Yeah.
So is it shilingi kuwa strong? Is it good? Yes, it's good. But
it's good for the country, but it's not good for
ile side ingine,
the other side of the world.
More. Yeah, you have to spend more.
But you look at it like even what they are proposing, like for the diasporans, sisi kuja hapa kwa country, you cannot even come with a phone, you can't come with anything else. We are taxed. At least kama hatuwezi pewa, this is very basic things. Even some tax, okay, they gave us tax amnesty from KRA, which I don't know people were able to take advantage of that, of which I did. And but when you're buying products coming within this country, you heard what they say with the IMEI, because
yeah. So it's imestopishwa, I think, for some time na the government, but it's going to I don't know. Yes,
but you see, when you don't have representation,
it's very hard to implement. Yes,
it's when you don't have people fight for those rights, the people get selected, that they will challenge us about this. There are people like we come from respective constituencies, and we have representatives. But those people do not represent the interest of the diasporians. The diasporians, people have decided to live there and they have their own lives. Okay. Another question came up, like, you have to be in parliament for more than 8 months. Sorry, like 8 consecutive sittings and all that. I was like, that's not even a problem. Everything apparently is done with technology and all that. That's part of attendance and all that. But when you have someone that is on the table that we can give our views, someone that we can understand, we give our ideas, share them out, so that we can be a part of the team which was deciding some things, even in terms of this budgeting and all that. People have skills out there, which are unutilized. So when we say people bring back what they have, bring back to the community, what are they going to bring?
Okay. Yeah. So I think in a nutshell, kile mnasema ni as watu wa diaspora, you want your vote to count, and for that vote to count, nyinyi ni wengi sana. So mna need more polling centers. And that would help, like, so that like IEBC needs to start taking seriously Kenyans abroad, because hata saizi kuna vile tuna export workers, and as we export these workers, they'd want to change stuff happening home. Will that happen? Hatujui, but
ukiangalia ukiangalia kama watu wa Middle East, surely they can never do any investment in that country where they're living. Watu wenye wako US wako different over the parts of the world, right? Yeah. The people in the Middle East, bro, all their money comes to the country 100%.
Yeah.
You know that. They can never have a family there. They can't have a social life. They don't have anything else. And then you know, no one decides on that the same money that is just being sent to this country to help whatever is not even accounted for. Like, they don't even have anything to represent them for it. You see?
Gava sasa inataka 30% of it. You know that?
Yeah, of course.
Because the Middle East money, the fact that it's not taxed on ground, because I hear the way taxes work is it depends with the rate taxation in your country. So kama New Asemco states, of course, tax go up to 30%.
Right.
So Kenya pay a tax up to 30%. So it means you can do your zero return things. You can just balance it out. Just prove I've already paid taxes here. I don't need to pay taxes like in Kenya. In a place like Europe, France, it's up to 45%, yes?
That's correct.
So you don't need to pay your taxes in Kenya. But sasa come to like akina Qatar, Dubai, so it's zero taxation on ground. So the government wants it's 30%. But don't forget, these countries also pay minimum wage. So you don't, and this is money that you are remitting back to the country. This is money that was not in the country. Ile unaingiza. Na hii serikali bado inataka kutax. So I think it's a very tricky situation if you come to African countries. And we always compare ourselves with Singapore. Na nilan kitu fulani sana jo Singapore ile ilikuwa interesting. Like the way Singapore was knocked out of...
Lee Kuan Yew.
After ilikuwa knocked out of Malaysia. Like the Malaysians were like, fuck you.
They claimed the sea.
Fuck off. Yes. So when they were told they need to fuck off, the leader was Singapore your time ndiye akasema, we are going to show these people that we are better than they say. And Singapore became what it became. Since we compare ourselves with Singapore and we are busy stealing taxpayers' money. In Singapore, I think their president was being, a prime minister, he was being interviewed na akasema, according to him, for you to be a leader, the number one quality, the only quality you need is honesty. And honesty to the level of hata shilingi moja ikipotea una feel guilty. Hii yetu tunapoteza 161 billion na tunaendelea kulala.
I think the socialists will tell you honesty is not the word. Transparency.
Yeah.
Be transparent, because honesty is when someone has offended you and is just coming like, let me be honest. But if you're transparent from the word go, you're transparent, so you don't need honesty in it. You know.
So but Buddha, asante, ilikuwa inafaa kwa like a 20-minute conversation, imeenda kwa more than 1 hour.
Lakini fanya hivi, ambia Tuoli to go to a podcast, not to go to Jeff Twinanga. He's never gone anywhere for a serious interview. Tell him to go to mic check. Aone kama ata survive hizo vitu anasema sema huko, ama aende some other people who are still going to ask a question. I think to me Jeff right now is running out of I don't know, interviewees or whatever. I think he needs to change his because now he doesn't ask questions. He just lets people just say things and they cannot substantiate. Like the same thing, like Morara went there, said stuff, he could not substantiate. So every time he's just inviting people, the show keeps getting more irrelevant and all that. Apparently, I better watch the News Gang as of compared to Jeff KL, because why am I listening to Atuoli? It's telling me nothing. I mean, like dragging some people, bringing over there, just asking the same thing that you asked Atuoli 11 years ago. I mean, it's gonna say the same thing. To me, should do better.
So I guess vile sasamaga ni kama kawaida, si ndio?
Kama
kawaida, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend, kimalizia tukisema ikonini.